But now they're just discovering just how serious that attack is. And the last domino to fall, and it's beginning to tip. And if we just all put our effort into it in little ways, with even little steps every day, many hands make light work, that domino is going down. Now, the globalists are going to try to start World War III and set off nukes. I mean, they're capable of anything, and I see in my mind's eye mega terror if we don't expose them and talk about it. Then we take that tool away. But there's no doubt they've got really bad stuff locked, cocked, ready to go. But the last domino to fall, this is so important, is that most people who are awake still think they are the minority. And that's the last domino. I'd have to say 60%, the polls show this, Congress has a 13 to 9% approval, depending on which major scientific poll you look at, 9 to 13. What's the difference? Lowest in history, still plunging. Obama, lowest in history, plunging. People, the Republicans made compromises with the Democrats because they're bought and paid for by the same interest. Now conservatives are going completely ape. There's no honeymoon with that scum. It's very exciting. But still, 60% or more are awake now, but they just, it's like you wake up in the dark of the night and you kind of forget where you're at or what room. You ever wake up in a hotel when you're out of town, you kind of wake up thinking you're in your own home. You go, oh, that's right, I'm in Galveston, Texas. Oh, I'm in Los Angeles. Ooh, I'm in New York. I'm in D.C. Ooh, I'm in Toronto. I'm in London. So people have woken up, but they're in the dark now. They're awake. We that are more informed at a higher level have got to bring them up to the next level. Now that they're awake in the dark, we got to strike a match and go, it's global tyranny. It's happened in history. It's happening again. Here's what's happening. Here's who they are. Here's a film. Here's a link to a radio show. Here's a book. Here's some information. And again, it's a process. They won't immediately go out and kick the New World Order's hind end, but they will start growing, and then as the oppression gets worse, they'll now see it all as confirmation of what you told them. I can feel the energy of humanity shifting. I can feel the destiny of liberty rising, the spirit of 1776 as we go into 2011. God is on our side. They're now announcing that nationwide, it won't just be no refusal weekends, but they're going to be drawing blood nationwide under federal grants 24/7, 365 days a year. Hey, you notice what happens over and over again with all of this. It starts out with a few body scanners, and then, oh, scanners are going in everywhere, and then, oh, we're going to pat you down on top of the scanners. See, they always use psychology. The New World Order is run by psychologists and psychiatrists, anthropologists, sociologists. I mean, they admit that. It's all about the studying of their prey. The ruling class sees us as animals. And so it's all about the rollout. And it's also about the federalization of police following all these different federal orders. No refusal weekend program to exist year-round. Drivers who refuse breath tests will have blood drawn without warrants. Just 2.5 years ago in Texas and Florida, we've got a rubber stamp warrant. Courts said, well, that isn't a real warrant. And they just said, you know what? We don't need no stinking warrants. We don't need no stinking badges. Some of the big developments, I'm going to come back from break, start going to your phone calls. Obama's people announced earlier this week that they are indeed going to have the EPA start in the locales with grants, with the home inspections and the harassment of the farms and ranches. And it's all in the news today. They're going to go ahead with the global carbon taxes. California went ahead and put that into place. They're now going to phase in a 20% tax, basically on all human activity. Of course, China, India, Mexico, they have to make zero cuts. You thought your jobs left the country already? Whatever's left is going to go real fast because it's designed to deindustrialize us. And that's not my opinion. That's on record. Post-industrial society. Maurice Strong, UN, David Rockefeller, the head climatologist at NASA. I mean, this is their policy. The head of the transportation department in 2010, back in January, told the Wall Street Journal, said, absolutely, we're anti-car. We do want you out of your cars. They build the society on cars with sprawling, separated cities and urban centers. Then they start squeezing. We told you a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or I guess more than that, a few months ago with Lindsey Williams. He said that 3 months ago first, that it was going to be going up to 150 a barrel. Now the head of Dutch Roll Shell says, that's right, 150, 200 a barrel in the next year, $5 a gallon gas. But it's all part of the lawlessness. See, they're lawless. That's the Overton window. People send me emails and say, why did Glenn Beck call his book The Overton Window? Well, that's a psychological perspective. In fact, just print me the Wikipedia example of that. I should read the technical term for it. But the Overton window deals with a political window. And you've got in the false left-right paradigm, the left and the right. And if you want to really condition people to accept what you want them to do, even though it's radical, you ask for 1,000,000 miles on the left, just super extreme, knowing that they're going to struggle and fight you, but then think that they've had a victory when they only push you back 500,000 miles. So it's the old, they take 2 steps, and then you fight and only push them a foot back. And then they take 10 steps, and you push them 7 feet back, but still they've now gained 4 feet. Then they push it 100 feet. You push them back 80 feet. But now they've got, see, this is how they do it. I mean, it's bold and wild in just the space of 3 months to go from we're going to squeeze your genitals through your pants to we're going to go in your pants. See, they don't care now if you know they take your baby's blood secretly at birth and that they lied about it for decades. Because they're moving against you. They want to be so radical and so extreme that you just go into a catatonic state. The Overton window is a political theory described as a window in the range of public reactions to ideas in public discourse and a spectrum of all possible opinions on a particular issue. It is named after its originator, Joseph P. Overton, former vice president of the Mechanics Center for Public Policy. At any given moment, the window includes a range of policies considered to be politically acceptable in the current climate of public opinion, which a politician can recommend without being considered too extreme or outside the mainstream to keep or gain public office. Overton arranged the spectrum on a virtual axis of more free or less free in regards of government intervention. When the window moves or expands, ideas can accordingly become more or less politically acceptable. The degree of acceptance of public ideas can be described roughly as unthinkable, radical, acceptable, sensible, popular policy. And so they say, yeah, we're putting fluoride in your water. Next is lithium. And you know what? We are doing it to hurt you. It's good. Humans are bad. And we've been conditioned. It's like, okay, kill me. You're good.
Big Brother. Mainstream media. Government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
So it really is the Overton window, and government admits they're using that, where people 50 years ago would have thought it was insane and wouldn't have put up with it to have cities all over the country first banning BB guns. Now they're banning, I have several articles here in major cities, Nerf guns. See, first on key reservations where they have children, where the children haven't had their parents teach them their morals, and where they've been raised by the television, they can then mirror that propaganda in the school, and they can get away with things that adults would think of as extreme and crazy, like arresting small children for their G.I. Joe toy in their lunchbox because they have a 3-centimeter pistol in their hand. Or arresting someone because they have a plastic butter knife to put butter on their bread. This is happening every week or so. I see it in the news. That is also creating a cadre under the peer pressure of government control and the union, teachers who will do anything and think that tyranny is normal. And I use this example a lot, but if you went back, and I've studied Mesoamerica thousands and thousands of years ago, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, there was very little human sacrifice going on in Peru and what's Guatemala today and what's Mexico today. But as more and more radical warlike tribes got in control, by the time Cortez showed up 500 and something years ago, it was just insane asylum, hundreds of sacrifices a day per city, on some holidays 10,000+, giant meat markets of human flesh. That's how the priest class funded themselves. The main meat was human meat, and so you'd go into the market and they were selling all the different cutlets of men, women, and children. And if you went up and could speak Mayan to one of those tribes, to the Aztecs who spoke Mayan, that was Mayan subroot culture, and you said, this is wrong, they'd think you were nuts. They'd laugh at you. So, see, they've moved the window so far that it's radical that I don't want to ban Nerf toys. See, they've already got the young generation ready for that, and soon they'll be the adults. And kids are raised by television where every show is, set in New York or Chicago where guns are banned and where they see simulated cop shows where they're arresting people for owning guns. And so when a TV head comes in your house to clean your carpet or put in a telephone line and they didn't come from a rural area and they see a gun case, they call the cops on you. And the cops respond. And the juries are so dumb, people go to prison all the time for legal guns in their house. I see that every week or so as well. That's an example of just mass mental illness. Hitler was able, by degree, to demonize certain groups and people until the Germans were ready to do whatever they were told. Same thing with the Soviets. When you're purely driven by peer pressure and you've got tyrannical, scientific dictatorship, the sky's the limit. I'm going to your calls. I just wanted to get into this because on every front, they are transforming us into the opposite of what is archetypal freedom. They are transferring us into archetypal tyranny. A lot of writers, even in mainstream news, keep saying it's as if the government is trying to recreate 1984. It's as if it's a training manual. Hillary Clinton says it's her favorite book. And notice what she tries to create. See, for the tyrants, the answer to 1776 is 1984. From their perspective, that's what they want. And Jaron made the joke during the break that it's like party like it's 1984. And somebody should create a parody showing TSA searching people and chemtrails and cameras and blood draws. But then government can engage in all the corruption they want. And so when you see Supreme Court justices saying we're going to follow UN law and the Constitution doesn't matter, and USA Today, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and others, I've seen 4 of the 9 make comments like that. When you see judges on a routine basis saying, I don't have the Constitution in my courtroom, just search that. You'll see it over and over again. That's a talking point. Colorado, Texas, you name it. I don't allow the Constitution in my courtroom. When you see all these different congressmen in 2010 say, I don't care about the Constitution. I don't care. We've played those videos. In time constraints, I'm not going to play them now because I want to get to some of your calls. So when Ezra Klein, Washington Post staffer, and he's also a staffer at MSNBC, goes on a show and says, Constitution doesn't matter. See,